We've got our 50th state, so we have the entire country has a YPN network in the state.
Woo.
We started in 2006 at it was a meet and greet with some of the younger realtors who were attending the convention and were walking around like chickens with their heads cut off and didn't know where to go, what to do. So they said, okay, young realtors coming to their first NAR convention, this is a place where we could meet each other. I would say that there was 35 people there. There are now over 30,000 YPN members nationwide. I had the idea coming into this that we would be speaking exclusively about YPN and its reach and its growth and so on and so forth, which from looking at the questionnaire is exactly what we were discussing. But observing the group and seeing what we have and getting a cue from Quincy and Catherine, part of what we want to discuss is where we currently are in the marketplace and also as an industry and where we're going. I will share with you an anecdotal story. I took, on the way in, I had 3 different people that asked me. I came in from Rhode Island, about 10 minutes south of Providence. And everyone asked me, they said, oh, you know, how was it getting over here? And I said, you know, it wasn't bad. It took me like an hour and a half or so. They said, oh, you must have just came straight down 95. And I use my navigation system on my phone, you know, the AT&T Navigator thing, which I find to be very helpful typically when I don't know where I'm going. The strange thing about it, though, was that it put me on a trip and I was on roads that I've never been in Rhode Island, which is very difficult considering how small Rhode Island is. I said, I didn't even know this part of the state existed. So I'm going through, and you know, sometimes anyone uses the navigation system, sometimes it tells you like you're 0.1 miles away or 500 feet away, and you either cut too early or you pass it. I did that twice on the way over here. And candidly, on Facebook last night, Catherine replied to something that I had posted, and she said, hey, are you okay with directions? I said, I'm fine, I'm just going to use my navigation, I'll be good to go. I used my navigation, and it probably was more confusing than the directions that Catherine would have laid out for me. The reason why I use this example is that it's where we are currently in the real estate market. I think there is I would say it's warranted, but there is a fear from some of our seasoned, more experienced professionals that the tools and technology are growing at such a rapid rate that it's impossible to possibly keep up with it and feels like it's a new thing every day. And on some level, I want to go back to the basics. What is our role as realtors when we're working with a buyer or seller? What is our role? And you can scream it out if you'd like. What do we do?
To meet their goals of purchasing a home or investing in property or whatever.
Sure.
Represent their best interest.
Sure.
We help them navigate the process.
Navigate the process. Using my anecdote, I like that. Navigate the process. We are trusted advisors. I think it's the whole discussion about the value of the values that Zillow come up with, all of the tools available to the buyers. I don't want you to look at those things as scary things. I think those things are great. I think it's fantastic that we have more educated consumers now. Where we come in is guiding them through the process and having having better information and firsthand experience. Use Zillow, for example, which is part of the conversation. It simply is. Almost any listing presentation I go into, we talk about Zillow and what Zillow has worth. And with virtually all of the buyers, that is absolutely part of this, well, they say, we can't put an offer on this house because Zillow says it's worth X. Where we come in is, I've been in those actual homes. I can tell you, well, the reason why this home sold for 10% more than the other houses in the neighborhood is because they completely redid the kitchen, they put brand new bathrooms in there. It's a different house. I have so many people that feel like because they watch a couple HGTV shows and because they've read online about something that they really understand things. Or I have people that told me that the short sale process, yeah, I read about that online. I was like, well, have you ever actually, gone through a short sale as the buyer or seller side? I mean, I understand you reading it, but are you aware of all the potential pitfalls? I have. That's where I am valuable. That's where we are valuable. But still, did any of you guys see the NAR just published the 2012 Buyers and Sellers Report, the Profile of Buyers and Sellers Report? How many people saw it or read it? I advise everyone in this room to go check it out. These will be the buyers and the consumers that you will be working with. Just fascinating statistics across the board, but very directly, everyone's looking online for the houses. Not only are they looking online for the houses, they are doing it before they talk to and reach out to one of you. On average, they've spent 2 weeks looking before they contact an agent. Might have even attended an open house. The process, again, is different, but our role is still just as critical and important. I am a young professional member, but I am an OG. I've been licensed for 11 years. I do remember super keys. I do remember MLS books. I've been in the industry my whole life. My process in terms of working with a buyer took longer back then. There was an orientation that had to take place before that doesn't necessarily have to take place on the same level now. The importance of the technology and the internet, the most important piece I would say to you is you need to be visible. If they're looking for 2 weeks, that's 2 weeks that they are basically profiling and searching for their representation. One of the other statistics is they do value the realtor. They're still wanting to work with a realtor and get our expertise and guidance. They still value us. It's like the philosophical story or anecdote about if a tree falls in the woods and no one sees it or hears it, did it really actually fall? If you're a tremendous realtor and you have all the knowledge in the world, but no one can see you and find you, do you actually exist? To them, you don't. And that's why it's important to be visible in those places. And there's so much discussion about, do use this app, try this tool, so on and so forth. What I would tell all of you is that whatever your skill set is, promote that. Whatever you do best, that's what you should be highlighting and presenting and making searchable on Google or wherever else it is. I have a background in journalism. I studied broadcast journalism. One of the things that differentiates me from many of my competitors is that we spent about 5 years on the news, just getting ourselves out there. The great thing about that is instead of having my potential buyers or potential sellers watching at 8:30 in the morning, which they're probably not home, they're probably at work, I could spread that after the fact. I could put it all over Google. I could put it on my website. So then when someone Googles me and finds me, they can look through and say, okay, Matt Phipps was the guy who was on Fox Providence's House Talk, and before that he was on the Rhode Island News Channel. Before that he was on ABC 6. And they can see it and demonstrate and see that I have an understanding of the market, that I have an understanding of the short sale process. That is still where our value exists. The challenge I'm essentially throwing out to you is to promote that and make sure that people can see it. Good luck.